I don't know whether you noticed the column the other day. They predict that Elvis Presley will be another James Dean. Now, have you heard that?
I've heard something about it, but I would never compare myself in any way to James Dean, because James Dean was a genius in acting. Although I'll say that I sure would like to. I mean, I guess there's a lot of actors in Hollywood that would like to have had the ability that James Dean had. But I would never compare myself with James Dean in any way.
Now, if you had your choice, would you prefer to be an actor than to be a singing entertainer?
If I were a good actor, of course I'm not a good singer, but if I were a good actor, I think that I would like it a little better. Although, if I ever break into the acting completely, I'll still continue my singing. I'll still continue making records.
One day I ran into Hal Wallace, for whom I had done a number of pictures, and he said, "I'd like you to come over to the studio and look at a screen test I made of somebody." I said, "Who was it?" He said, "Elvis Presley." I said, "Come on, you've got to be kidding." He said, "Just come and see the screen test." I went over the following day, sat alone in a projection room, and watched about 15 minutes of film that the man had done, in which he did a scene from The Rainmaker, or one of Hal's previous pictures. And he just astonished me. He was so good.
I've never kissed a bear, I've never kissed a goon, but I can shake a chicken in the middle of the room. Let's have a party. Let's have a party.
Hal Wallace sent me to Memphis, Tennessee, to meet Elvis in person and to talk about the show, but also to see him in action and to learn as much about his method of operation as I possibly could, and eventually to incorporate some of what I had learned in the film itself, because I had not only written the screenplay, I was now to direct it. When the word got out, I began getting phone calls at my house. I got a number of telephone calls from people who said, "How dare you put this instrument of the devil on our screen?"
I will spend my whole life through loving you, just loving you. Winter, summer, springtime.
Liz Scott was a real movie star. Wendell Corey. And then they introduced me to this young man whom I greeted, and he said, "How do you do, Miss Dolores?" He said, "My name is Elvis Presley." And I said, "Well, what do you do?" It was great fun because it gave me the opportunity to discover what a great talent he had.
Oh, no, honestly, I can't.
Oh, go ahead. Maybe your husband will show you how.
Husband?
I went to every shot where he was singing just to hear him. Even if I wasn't in the shot, I wanted to be there on stage.
Will I always be a lonesome cowboy?
Look at the women. What's he doing to them?
Every girl, I can tell you.
I found out he was as good as they said.
Right, right, right. Cowboy, cowboy.
The fun thing about Elvis was his entourage. He never came on the set except with his entourage. It was all so funny to me because I never understood why someone needed an entourage. But he was fascinating to work with because he had a photographic mind. He came in prepared every day, and he had these eyes.
I'm just a lonesome
They were just so fascinating. I mean, they absolutely mesmerized me. So often that I just have to say, "Hey, Liz, wake up. This is a scene you're shooting."
And I'm never coming home.
What's your number, honey? I'll call you.
I'm scared again. I'm real scared. I'm running and crawling scared.
Dick, you have no reason to be scared.
If you ever had to do a scene with him,
I'll help you.
you'd be somewhat taken aback.
I think he had tremendous natural ability.
11 years ago, the night the home burned, when everybody was milling around and yelling, well, I ran away. I ran all night, and the next morning I found myself in here. I was all alone, Miss Glenda. And the one thing I needed was friends.
One of the things he said to me without reading the script, this is the first evening we were there, he said, "Do I have to smile much in the picture?" And I said, "What do you mean smile?" He said, "Well, there's a call for me to smile." I said, "Well, just offhand, Elvis, I can't recall where it says in the script he smiles. That all comes out of the same when we stage it, when we start working. Why do you ask a question like that?" He said, "Well, I've been studying the films of some big stars. I've been looking at Jimmy Dean, whom we worship, and Marlon Brando, and Humphrey Bogart." He says, "And I noticed that they never smile." He said, "And that's what makes women excited, the fact that they never smile. And I don't want to smile if I don't have to." He said, "Because if you save your smiles, then when you do smile, you really got it."
Oh, teddy bear. Oh, let me be. Oh, let it be your teddy bear. I just want to be your teddy bear.
They said the first day's shooting would be the last scene in the picture, which I discovered that Hollywood does that. Yeah, and this was the big kiss. So Hal Kanter gave us a description of how to do it, so you keep your eyes from making shadows on one another's face and so on. And he said, and I will say roll 'em and cut when it's finished. So he says, roll 'em, and we go into the clinch. And suddenly, within 3 seconds, he says, cut. And I thought, what could I have done wrong in that 3 seconds? But he came over and he said, Wally Westmore, that was the makeup man, would you please come over and put something on her ears? They're turning red.
As the moon that's big and bright.
Vernon and Gladys came to Hollywood, I guess, for the first time. Now I have an idea. When we do the big show scene, why don't we put your folks in the audience? He said, they'd love it. Let's do that. And that's how they got into the picture.
I thought, this is a boy who has had a good mother, who's taught him the values of his Christian life. And I was right, because when you hear him sing the gospel songs,
there's just something about his sex appeal, I guess you'd say, but the eyes particularly, there was something so seductive about those eyes.
Okay, man, let's take it from the top.
I will spend my whole life through loving you, just loving you.
I often wonder why the Lord gave me such an opportunity to audition for Elvis. There were so many of us in line that day, and I just can't believe that I got the part.
Oh, what I do, you know that I'll always be loving you, just you, and if I'm seen with
I never felt I was leaving Hollywood. I never felt I was leaving anything that I was given.
I'll be faithful, I'll be true, always true.
The Abbey was like a grace of God that just entered my life in a way that was totally unexpected. And God was the vehicle. He was the bigger Elvis.
You know that I'll always be loved.